Remember those like sci-fi movies with robots walking around just doing their thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, get ready, because that future might be closer than we think.
Mm.
We're diving deep today into a YouTube video. It's called China's New AI Robot Workforce. The world is stunned. 1,000 robots by 2025.
Okay.
This video, it shows all these Chinese companies like churning out robots left and right.
Wow.
And even some experts here in the US are saying that, we might be the last generation to live without robots being, kind of everywhere.
Yeah. So I guess the big question is, are we really on the edge of like a total robot revolution, or is this just hype?
I think that's the question everyone's asking, and it's a big one.
Right.
Especially when you think about, the sheer amount of money being invested in this tech.
Yeah.
What really got me in that video, it wasn't just, how many robots China wants to make, but how fast they want to do it.
Okay, yeah.
Talking major breakthroughs by 2025.
And then by 2027, they want robots to be like a major part of their whole economy.
Okay, so that's coming up pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So China's government is like all in on robots.
It's like it.
The video highlights some of these big companies involved. Like there's this company, AGI Bot, and they've already shown off 5 fully functional commercial human robots.
Wow.
And they're getting ready to mass produce them. And get this, they're training these robots to do things around the house, like laundry.
That's interesting because it seems like it's not just about, factory work anymore.
Right.
China's vision seems to be to have robots integrated into like everyday life.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like the impact if robots become as common as, I don't know, like smartphones?
Yeah, it's kind of exciting, but also a little freaky, or like, I don't know if I actually want a robot doing my laundry.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's a big change.
Yeah, it is. And then there's this other company, Unitree. They're doing some pretty cool stuff with robot movement and speed. They had this robot, the G1, and they said it was going to cost like $16,000.
Right, I remember that.
But now it's up to a whopping $66,000.
Whoa, that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, talk about expensive.
I think that price change is really interesting, though.
Okay.
It kind of suggests that the tech is moving really fast.
Okay.
So they're probably using more advanced parts and, the cost of building these things is going up.
Yeah, at least for now.
Right, exactly. But it also makes you wonder, like, how much will people actually pay for a robot?
Right. Good point.
For them to become really popular.
Yeah.
Like, what's the magic number?
Well, maybe this other company, Engine AI, has figured it out. They've got this SE1 robot that only costs $12,000.
Oh.
That's getting closer to, like, maybe I could actually buy one.
Right.
So could this be, like, the game changer for small businesses or, even just regular people?
I think that lower price point is going to open up a ton of possibilities.
Yeah.
Think about it. Healthcare, education, entertainment, all these industries could start using robots.
Wow.
You could have robots helping doctors, tutoring students, maybe even performing on stage.
Whoa, hold on. Robot rock stars.
Yeah.
We'll have to save that for another deep dive.
Definitely.
But okay, the video doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
It mentions all these other Chinese companies like Robot Era, Magic Lab, Kepler. It's like they're just popping up everywhere.
It really shows you how serious China is about, becoming like the butter in robots.
Yeah.
They're trying all these different approaches and like pouring money into research. So who knows what they'll come up with next.
Okay, so China is definitely painting a very futuristic picture here.
Yeah.
But what about the U.S.? Well, the video introduces us to this guy, Dr. Jim Fan. He's a researcher at NVIDIA.
Okay.
And he says this really intense thing.
What's that?
He says, we are the last generation without advanced robots everywhere.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you think.
He does.
He's basically saying that this isn't just like a small change. You know?
Right.
It's like a fundamental shift in how we'll interact with technology.
Yeah.
Future generations might grow up with robots all around them, just as normal as like we use our phones today.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
Right.
And the video mentions how Dr. Fan is working on training robots in like virtual worlds.
Well, yeah, I heard about that.
Where time moves faster so they can learn super quickly.
It's called sim to real transfer.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty cool stuff.
So can you explain like how that works?
Sure. Imagine you have a robot that's learning to walk, right?
Okay.
But it's doing it in this virtual world where like days can go by in minutes.
Oh, wow.
So it can trip, fall, get up thousands of times.
Yeah.
And it learns from every single mistake way faster than it could in the real world. And then they take all that knowledge and download it basically into a real robot.
Wow, so it's like boot camp for robots.
Exactly.
But how realistic are these simulations, though?
That's a good question.
I mean, can they really, like, capture all the crazy stuff that happens in the real world?
That's one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Bridging the gap between the simulation and reality. Simulations are awesome for, like, initial training and stuff.
Right.
But they can't account for everything that'll happen out there in the real world.
So there's still a learning curve, even for these super trained robots.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into some specific robots here in the U.S.
Okay.
The video starts with a big one, Boston Dynamics and their Atlas robot.
Oh, yeah, Atlas.
This thing's like an Olympic athlete. It can do backflips, parkour, you name it.
Atlas is definitely impressive, no doubt.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, it's mainly a research project.
Okay.
You know, they're pushing the limits of what a robot can physically do.
So it's more about, like, showing off what's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily designed for everyday tasks.
Right.
Okay, then there's Agility Robotics and their Digit robot. This one seems more like ready to get to work.
I've seen videos of Digit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the video highlights how it could be used for logistics and delivery.
You know, it's a completely different approach to building robots. They're focused on function and real-world problems.
Yeah.
So it's built to be stable, dexterous, you know, able to move around in places designed for humans.
Okay.
Makes it perfect for things like moving boxes in warehouses or delivering packages.
So while Atlas is doing backflips, Digit's the one that might actually bring us our packages someday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
It shows how different the goals can be in robotics.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what about this one? Sanctuary AI's Phoenix robot.
Okay.
It's working with OpenAI, the people who made ChatGPT, which is, you know, already pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So are we talking about a robot that can write poetry and discuss philosophy?
Well, I don't know about that.
Uh-huh.
But putting advanced AI language models like ChatGPT into robots,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, now you have robots that could understand us, respond to us, maybe even like talk back and have a conversation.
Okay, so maybe no poetry slams just yet.
Right, not yet.
But they could be pretty smart.
Oh, definitely.
The video also mentions Figure AI's Figure O2 robot.
Okay.
This one's already out there working in BMW factories.
So the robot workforce is already here.
It is.
That's a big step, you know?
Yeah.
Having robots actually working in the real world. It makes you think about what's going to happen to manufacturing and all those jobs.
Yeah, it's a big question. And then there's the robot everyone's talking about, Tesla's Optimus.
Oh, yeah?
They've shown it doing some pretty cool stuff, like pouring drinks, even dancing.
Uh-huh. I saw that.
Is Tesla about to become, like, a major player in the robot world?
Well, Tesla's definitely got a lot of experience with AI and manufacturing, and of course they know how to put on a show.
Yeah, they do.
So we'll have to see if Optimus actually becomes something you can buy.
Right.
But they've definitely gotten everyone excited about robots.
Yeah, for sure. And just like in China, the U.S. has all of these other companies working on robots.
It's really a global race.
It is.
Yeah.
Eptronic, Nubility, Haloti Robotics, 1X. The list goes on and on.
Everyone wants a piece of the pie.
It seems like it. So, after seeing all this, are we really on the verge of a robot revolution?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
I think things are definitely changing really fast.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see what happens.
It's going to be interesting.
One thing's for sure, though. The robots are coming.
They are. Okay, so we've seen some pretty amazing robots so far.
Yeah, some seriously cool tech.
But let's go back to that YouTube video for a second.
Okay.
China's new AI robot workforce, remember?
Yeah.
They said China wants to have like 1 million robots working by 2025.
That's right. Million.
I mean, is that even possible?
It's ambitious, that's for sure.
It is.
But you got to remember, China thinks long term. You know?
Yeah.
They've decided that robots are like the key to their future economy.
Okay.
And they're putting their money where their mouth is.
But 1 million robots in just a few years, that's a huge jump.
It is, no doubt.
Like, what would that even look like?
Well, imagine robots, not just in factories,
Yeah.
but in hospitals, schools, restaurants, even like walking down the street delivering stuff.
Wow.
It would change like everything about how their economy works.
Okay, let's say they actually do it.
Hmm.
What would that mean for, like, the whole robot industry globally?
Well, it would definitely make China the big dog when it comes to robots.
Yeah.
It could speed up innovation, make robots cheaper, and even influence how robots are developed everywhere.
So it's not just about China itself.
Right.
It's about how their actions could change the whole industry.
Exactly. It's like the space race, but for robots.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk about some of those impacts we mentioned earlier.
Sure.
You said robots could be used for, like, dangerous jobs or repetitive tasks.
Yeah, think about like a disaster zone, you know, a building collapses or there's a chemical spill.
Yeah.
They can send robots in to check things out, find survivors, even give first aid.
So robots as first responders.
Exactly. And it keeps people safe. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And I guess that idea goes beyond just emergencies, right?
Oh, for sure.
Any job that's super risky could be done by a robot.
Think about things like mining, exploring the ocean floor, handling dangerous chemicals.
Yeah. Right. Sending robots to places where we don't want to send people.
Exactly.
But what about those factory jobs everyone talks about?
Mm.
You know, the ones that robots could easily do.
Manufacturing is definitely a big area for robots.
Yeah.
They can work 24/7, they're super precise, and they never get tired.
But wouldn't that mean people lose their jobs?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
I mean, robots and automation are changing how we work, that's for sure.
Right.
Some jobs will definitely disappear, but new ones will also be created.
So it's not as simple as robots taking over then?
Not at all.
Hmm.
More complicated than that.
Yeah.
The challenge is to adapt, you know,
Okay.
to make sure people have the skills they need for these new jobs that are coming.
Like what kind of jobs?
Well, think about people who can fix robots,
Mm.
program them, even design how robots and humans work together.
So a whole new category of jobs is being created because of robots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about being afraid of robots. It's about figuring out how to work with them, how to use their strengths and our strengths together.
Okay, so robots in dangerous jobs, robots in factories.
Yeah.
What about robots in our everyday lives?
Yeah.
Are we going to have robot butlers and self-driving cars soon?
Well, we're already seeing some of that, right?
Yeah.
Self-driving cars are being tested all over.
Right.
They're not quite ready yet, but the technology is getting there.
Okay, what about those robot butlers, though?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for a robot that can fold my laundry.
Well, a robot that can do everything might be a while off,
Yeah.
but we are seeing progress with robots that can do specific chores around the house. Remember that company from the video, AGI Bot?
Yeah.
They're training robots to do laundry. That's a start.
So maybe not a robot that does it all, but one that takes care of those annoying chores.
Exactly.
Oh.
And as the tech improves and gets cheaper, we'll probably see more robots designed for homes,
Okay.
helping with cleaning, cooking, taking care of kids or older folks.
Okay, so less chores, more free time.
Sounds good, right?
It does. But what about the downsides? We talked about jobs, but what else should we be thinking about?
Well, one thing is we don't want to become too dependent on robots.
Right.
We still got to know how to do things ourselves.
Yeah, like I use GPS all the time, and now I have no sense of direction.
Exactly. We got to find a balance, you know. Use robots to make our lives better,
Yeah.
but not forget how to do things on our own.
So use them as tools, not replacements.
Right. Another thing to think about is, people using robots for bad stuff.
Oh, yeah.
As robots get smarter, we got to make sure they're used ethically.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
It's about how we use it.
Right,
We
right.
need to talk about these ethical questions, not just experts, but everyone,
That's a good point.
because robots going to affect all of us.
They are. It's a lot to think about, but it's exciting to see all this happening.
It is, definitely.
So robots are coming, and it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want with them.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Okay, so we've gone from robot factories in China to, like, robot butlers.
Yeah,
And we even talked about, what it all means for us humans in the future.
it's a lot.
It is. And I'm still thinking about that quote from Dr. Jim Fan. Everything that moves will eventually be autonomous.
Yeah, that one really sticks with you.
It does. I mean, that's a huge prediction.
It is.
It makes you think about, like, what's the role of humans if everything is automated?
Exactly. It's not just about robots taking our jobs.
Right.
It's about, like, our whole relationship with machines, with work, even with what it means to be human.
Yeah. It's a lot to process.
It really is. But I think the important thing is to not be scared.
Okay.
Be curious, Be open to the possibilities. Because this rise of robots, it's going to have good and bad sides.
Right.
It's up to us to figure out how to make it work for everyone.
So instead of worrying about robots taking our jobs, maybe we should think about how to work together with them.
Exactly. Use their strengths to make us stronger.
Hmm.
Think of them as tools, really powerful tools.
Okay.
Tools that can help us with dangerous stuff, boring stuff,
Yeah.
maybe even solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Like you mean climate change or curing diseases?
Yeah, or even exploring space.
Wow.
Robots could be the key to all sorts of amazing things.
It's like we're at the beginning of, I don't know, like a robot revolution.
A robotics renaissance.
Yeah, that's it. But like with any big change, there's going to be bumps along the way.
Oh, for sure. We got to be smart about it.
Yeah.
We have to think about those downsides, like people losing their jobs, making sure everyone benefits from these technologies.
Right, right.
And most importantly, making sure robots are used for good.
So it's not about just accepting robots as the answer to everything. We've
Well,
got to be realistic.
Exactly.
See both the good and the bad.
And talk about it.
Yeah.
Have those tough conversations about the future of work, AI, all of it.
It's a lot to think about, but I feel like this deep dive has given us, a good starting point.
I think so too.
So as we wrap up this episode, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
I think it's this. Robots are coming, and they're coming fast. But it doesn't have to be a scary thing. It's a chance for us to shape the future, to figure out how we want to live with these machines, to create a world where robots and humans can both thrive.
That's a great way to put it. And hey, who knows? Maybe someday we'll have a robot co-host on this show. But until then, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of robots.